Hey guys, and welcome to the first episode of Flashback Friday. Brand new segment with Drew and I. Every week on Fridays, we're going to be bringing back the most memorable moments, either from the Montreal Canadiens organization or from the NHL. Anything you want, we'll be covering it. Drew, how's it going?
Oh, it's going so good. That intro is unbelievable. Like, holy smokes, that has to be your best one yet.
Probably is, not to be, but
You can toot your own
no,
horn on that one. That was
I'm going to toot my
dynamite.
own horn. That one was fun to do, and it's just going to be a fun segment of just shooting the shit, Nothing too serious, just having fun and reliving some of the best moments throughout NHL history, and especially with Montreal. This week, we have a Habs legend that we're going to be talking about. You guys voted for it on Twitter. I think every week we're going to be doing this, maybe suggesting a few different topics or just letting the fans decide what you guys want us to cover. And we've picked one of the best moments in Montreal Canadiens history. Our dear captain, Saku Koivu, coming back from cancer on April 9th, 2002. So just to get started a bit quickly, I wanted to get your take on what Saku Koivu means to you as a player and as an individual.
Yeah, where to start, right? I mean, a guy that the stories like these happen, and so many people talk about how the Canadiens are the most storied franchise, not just in the NHL but in hockey history, which is just an honor in itself to be able to say that, because all the years, all the cups, and it's been almost 30 years since the last Stanley Cup, and in between that time, certain stories have just etched their place in Montreal Canadiens history, and this is one of the biggest ones, probably the biggest one in my mind that has happened since the '93 Cup, in terms of just I don't know if you want to call it glorious moments, but just
It's well-deserved glorious moment.
yeah, just where everybody remembers where they were. So many people talk about, like, his former teammates constantly always talk about the most memorable moments in their career, and Saku Koivu's return was one of them. And the crowd just giving him what was it, a 9-minute ovation, and he means so much to this franchise, and like still does, after all these years. Mm-hmm. And I actually got a chance to the first time I really sat in like the lower bowl of what at the time was the HSBC Center in Buffalo, and got Saku Koivu, fortunately in my case, got a penalty, and I was able to snap
the only time you cheered for a penalty was that game.
The only time I was like, yes, he got a penalty. So here's a picture of Saku in the penalty box. I'm like practically able to touch the glass. So got within, 5 or 10 feet of the guy. And it was just kind of a cool moment to get right there. And my sister Tracy, of course, this is her favorite player of all time. And if we ever get Saku on the show, which would just be a huge honor for the Habs Tonight team, that could fulfill a dream for her to chat with him maybe for a moment. And you mentioned Saku being the reason that you became such a big Montreal Canadiens fan.
Yeah. So back in 2002, young Annik was about 7 or 8 years old, let's say. And I mean, I always watched hockey, always was into hockey, but I remember that moment of sitting in my living room and watching Saku come back, and just the ovation that he got. You could see how much he was loved in Montreal by the fans. You could see it from the coaching staff, his teammates, and you could even see it from the opposing team, the Ottawa Senators, who, what a moment it was to be part of. You're able to witness somebody whose career was just so uncertain at some point. You didn't know if he was going to come back, if he was going to live through it. So just to be part of that was extremely special, I bet, for anybody who was around, and extra special for us as fans. Just sitting there watching the crowd giving him a 9-minute ovation. I mean, what was the other biggest ovation? Was it Maurice Richard's ovation?
Yeah, probably the Montreal Forum, maybe.
That's probably the biggest ovation. Yeah. So those are the two biggest ovations in Montreal Canadiens history. So to witness that, just being so young, is what made me fall in love with this organization and him as a player. Not only as a player, but as a person. He's such a genuine human being that you could see even when he returns to Montreal, whoever he talks to, he speaks so highly of this organization and from his experience. So one of the best captains in Montreal Canadiens history, in my opinion. One of them.
There's never going to be an argument there. And
there's been a few, but he's on the top of the list for one of the best leaders for sure.
Oh, by far. He was captain also, I think, one of the longest serving captains, maybe second to only John Beliveau or Henri Richard, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
9 or 10 years as captain of the Montreal Canadiens. And my sister actually is in Montreal right now as we speak. And she texted me this picture yesterday of a picture from the Bell Center, a t-shirt. And of course, guess who it is? Saku Koivu. And I was like, I think you might have to get me one of those as well.
Get a few.
Get a few, because we would all love one
Those
of
are
those.
gorgeous.
So,
Those are gorgeous.
I just really like the color design there.
Yeah, the color scheme is really nice. The patch on it. I mean, just seeing that this is still for sale at the Bell Center shows the amount of respect the organization has for him and the importance he is to the fans.
It's like a vintage. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, you'll see a few more. You'll see some Beliveau, some Maurice Richards. You'll see a bunch of different guys out there, but do you still see, it's no disrespect to Max Pacioretty whatsoever here, but do you go to the Bell Center expecting to buy a Max Pacioretty t-shirt with the captain sign on it? Probably not.
Not anymore. I mean,
not anymore.
You see some cheap ones online still, but yeah.
Oh, yeah. But going to Tricolore Spa in Montreal, I don't expect to walk in and getting a Max Pacioretty t-shirt right away. I'm seeing some of the most wonderful captains throughout history, and Saku Koivu's name is still up there. So that's what matters the most to me right now, is that he is still such a genuine person to be around. Like, having him on this show would be an amazing honor. So Saku, if you're watching this, please come on the show.
We will reach out as best we can. Yeah, we certainly will. That would be a big one for sure, just for how much he has and still does mean to this franchise, to the fans. And when the moments like that happened, when that ovation happened and he was able to continue playing for many years after, many years. Fans often want, or people outside the Montreal organization often wonder why the scrutiny, why the negativity kind of gets as bad as it can sometimes around this franchise. But when you see the love, come out for their players in the best possible form, that's what it's about. Exactly. That's what being a Montreal Canadiens fan is about, is experiencing moments like that, especially coming back from what could have been, again, like you said, a very negative situation, and able to turn it into one of the most positive moments in the history of the Montreal Canadiens.
Yeah.
You can't put a price on that.
No.
And that's what makes it so special to be a Montreal Canadiens fan. And it's so special. Like you said, like, you just look at this picture is just etched in so many people's minds. Some people are right there in the stands. This will be forever a memory of theirs. And again, you hear players talk about it all the time. One of the most. Can
you imagine being there that night?
Yeah, like, I can't.
Wow.
Like, I just, the goosebumps, the emotions,
especially
the happy tears, all those things just kind of came to the surface. And I'm really proud that I got to see him play for a long time too, in person, at the Bell Center and in Buffalo. I didn't just see him in Buffalo like I do most Montreal players. Got to see him play at the Bell Center, and actually my sister got to see him play his last game as a Montreal Canadian in a game that he scored the overtime winner. 2009, I think it was. So
I remember that.
Yeah, so he's meant a lot to our family and just to all of us.
I'm sorry for my dogs right now. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
They're really excited for Saku, as you can tell.
They're saluting.
Right. Exactly. But just to touch more, so Saku was diagnosed with intra-abdominal non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. So I was reading an article about it today, and even the movie that was made about, the documentary that was made about it, where Dr. Mulder sat down with him and just said, I looked at the scans and it was a scary situation of, he didn't realize how bad it was until he saw the scans. And I can't imagine sitting down and having a team doctor telling you your career might not only be over, but your life might be over too. Like, you might not get out of this. So he was lucky to have such an organization that, like, I mean, Dr. Mulder has the biggest reputation of one of the most amazing doctors, right? So he was lucky to have these people behind him, and going through chemo, radiation. I can't imagine what it was for him to go through all of this. But I think one thing that sticks out the most for me is that he turns around, and how do you repay somebody who did so much for you? He turns around and he buys a PET CT scan machine for the hospital. Like, what a guy. this machine is still used to this day and saving countless lives. Like I can't imagine, like, how do you say thank you?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, because that's what it's all about. Once again, like, just more shades of John Beliveau, like, just in terms of like the impact one person, one player can have on a franchise. And that is a lasting impact that he's going to have forever. So yeah, I'm just picturing like the smile on Saku's face still. It's amazing the relationship the Canadians have with their former players. And it's
Fans
special,
too.
kind of to mention this too, because there was another request. I think it was from Dan Lemire, your dad, about a forthcoming Flashback Friday episode on the Canadians' biggest comeback against the New York Rangers in 2008, which Saku Koivu was, of course, a part of, and got the shootout winner.
That iconic photo with Alex Kovalev too, when he's on his butt up in the air. It's such. We'll touch back on that game. That's going to be a show of itself, but what a game that was. And I think that's one of the moments where, like you said, the fans remember Saku Koivu for especially that moment. Like, what a game it was. But just to give a quick preview to the fans here, we have a part of Saku's 9-minute ovation. And
amazing.
Wow.
Amazing. What a moment. Like, I can't imagine what it was like to be him in that moment. Like, just the feels that he had to have had. Like, I just can't imagine. Right?
Just
like,
the pure emotion of like 9 minutes of this. It's not like it's a 2 minutes of yeah, okay, thank you. It's 9 minutes. It's a long time.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's like time just stopped, right? I mean, there's moments in life like that where it just feels like the clock disappears and you're just embracing
that's one of them.
The presence of the moment.
Yeah.
And that was one of the best.
That's one of them. Yeah. So let's talk about also. So Saku had a 9-minute ovation. He played 13 shifts, 8 minutes and 22 of ice time. Pretty good for a game where you're coming back from all kinds of treatments. He was in shape, like you couldn't even tell. Gets the first star of the game. And then Montreal wins 4-3 against the Ottawa Senators, and they clinch a playoff spot for the first time in 4 years. A Cinderella type of night in my book.
Yeah, and then he went on to score. I think it was against. Could have been Carolina. I'm trying to remember exactly, but he scored either in his comeback game or I think it was the first game of the playoffs.
Yeah, because he had 2 points in his first game back. I don't believe they were goals.
I think maybe it was the assist I was thinking of, but I'm like, oh my gosh, like he factored in on a goal in his comeback game.
Yeah,
another assist. So yeah, like just I remember that playoff run. It was just such a high, for Montreal Canadiens fans getting Saku back. And then, of course, he gets on the scoreboard and just,
you clinched for the first time in 4 years. And then you turn around and in your first postseason, back from cancer, he gets 10 points within 12 games.
Yeah.
Like, you couldn't have written it better.
Like, we talk about wanting to win the 25th Stanley Cup, and we still do. Like, we were that close this year. But, I mean, when it comes to like, there's little victories too, right? That the Saku's story is a victory in its own right,
Yeah.
So that's what makes it so special, is the way he was able to continue being a Montreal Canadian for so many years after that. And that's like those little moments, like you just mentioned there, and the production he was able to get, like after that comeback, he must have just been on such a high. I mean, like just flowing with it, going with it, and living in the moment. And that's what we like to do on Flashback Friday. We're going to continue to do. So maybe fans, we talked about this, you and I, Nick, before the show started, about, inviting Montreal Canadiens fans to share some of your most favorite memories that you've experienced at the Montreal Forum, the Bell Center, in person, meeting the Canadiens, some of the moments that meant most to you as a Montreal Canadiens fan, or any team. This is open to other teams, this show. So we are Habs tonight, but we are hockey fans, number one as well. So just want to put that out there. If any fans want to come on and share their stories, that we're open to that as well.
Share your photos, share your videos. We'll just put them on, and we'll gladly have you on. Like Drew said, it's what's gonna make the show even more amazing is hearing even more stories about it. Like if you would have been here to like for that night, I mean, I'm sure the stories would have been amazing to hear. And before we close off, I guess my one question to you regarding Saku would be: does he deserve to have the number 11 hanging from the the rafters?
Oh, that's a tough one.
It's a tough question, I know. Because we have our very own Brandon Gallagher who shares number 11 with Saku, which is well deserved. But
well, if anyone's going to have number 11 right now, I'm glad it's Gally, because you talk about heart and soul. Saku Koivu was most definitely the heart and soul of the Montreal Canadiens for many years, still is.
The apple didn't fall far from the tree on that number, that's for sure.
Yeah, so for anybody else to take it on, I'm glad that it's Brendan Gallagher. Should it be retired? I don't know. It's a hard question to answer only because we still have a player on our roster wearing it. But I'm certainly glad that it's that it's Brendan Gallagher, because we talk about heart and soul, and he's currently the heart and soul of the Canadiens, and very well next in line to be the next captain of the Montreal Canadiens, possibly.
Yeah.
So I think the expectation is that he will be. But that being said, I don't know. But there has to be. I think they did a tribute to the captains. They had a captain's night a couple years ago, and I'm pretty sure Saku Koivu was among those. So I don't know about his jersey. It's tough, right? Because I don't know.
If the current number 11 wasn't being worn, then would you hang it in the rafters?
I would certainly have to consider it. I would very strongly consider it, because Saku Koivu forever will be etched into Montreal Canadiens lore and history for what he's done as a player and as a person. And he exemplifies kind of that John Beliveau sort of role model like character that we want to permeate and continue in the Montreal Canadiens for as long as they shall live, if you will. So yeah, I mean, in some way, shape, or form, I think he should deserve a statue. That's one
easily
I would put out there, maybe, as Saku Koivu. What do you think?
100% agree. He needs to be sketched in history, literally, some way, one way or another. Like, if it's not going to be in the rafters, give him a statue, give him a full-on plaque. I don't know, just give him something that's going to be in the grounds or on the ceiling forever. He's the type of human that deserves it, the type of player that deserves it. And even if he doesn't, at least he's sketched throughout history in the books.
Yeah, like I don't know if like they call it Legends Row, I think, in Toronto or something, but in Montreal, you got, I guess, John Beliveau, the Rocket Richard, Guy Lafleur, and
the Pocket Rocket.
Yeah. So there's only a few statues, but I think that there's definitely room for some major tribute, just as a role model for kids.
Yeah.
It's not just about winning the Stanley Cup, although it's a big deal in Montreal and we've won the most. What Saku Koivu did in beating cancer, that's a victory that you can't put a price on, and inspires so many people that have to go through what he went through in all the treatments and everything. So I feel like the history books are still being written on that regard, and Saku Koivu will have a new page at some point, I'm sure.
Well, that's the wish, right? All we can ask for. And again, Saku, if you're watching, please come on the show.
Please.
Please.
Love to have you.
Please. No, it would be obviously a dream come true for a lot of us, and obviously your sister Tracy, which we would gladly have on the show for her to talk or ask a question or anything we can do just to make one of her dreams come true. That's for sure. I'm sure it's on her bucket list.
It's the Mount Rush. Yeah, like the Mount Rushmore has like Saku Koivu by himself on Tracy's
on Tracy's all-time player list.
Yeah. So that would be amazing.
Tracy, sure. We'll work on it. I promise.
We'll try.
Before we let you guys go, we are going to keep reminding you that I don't have the image here. Rookie mistake on my end, but Brendan Gallagher is going to be coming on to our show on August 4th for a Weesey Wednesday interview with Dale Weiss and myself. It's going to be a pre-recorded interview since Dale has now flown off overseas. He's no longer in the same time zone as us, so we are going to need to accommodate his schedule, Brendan Gallagher's schedule, and just try to make time zones match. It's going to be a challenge of its own, but it's going to be a great interview. So from a former number 11 to a current number 11, great foreshadowing again on our part. And we want to tell you guys that if ever you do have a moment in history, whether it's Montreal or anywhere in the league, send us your requests and we will gladly cover them. This is a show just to have some fun and to relive some of the best moments. And I think we all deserve that throughout the off season, is to get pumped for next season.
Absolutely. You nailed it. So, yeah, look forward to it. This is our first one, and not a bad one to start with Saku for sure. It was pretty easy choice for us to start with this one.
Yeah. And we'll, like we said, we'll gladly take you guys to come on the show if you want to talk about your memories from such events. If you have photos and videos you want to share, you can always email them, DM them to us, whatever's easier for you guys, and we will gladly share them on the show. So not bad for first episode. I'm pretty happy we went with Saku, since it's a very important moment in history, and hopefully we'll have many more to come.
We sure will. Thanks for all the work you did putting this together too, Nick. This was
my pleasure.
And it was a privilege and a pleasure to do so. And there'll be, other co-hosts coming on. I know that we have Brandon, who's going to want to talk about his Ryan Paling experience being at that game for the hat-trick game and all that stuff. But we have the whole team that's available to come on this show and share their stories. And again, to you, the viewers, we want to hear your stories. We really do, actually. I think that this is your time to share your story with Montreal Canadiens fans. Whatever team it is, doesn't matter. But we want to hear your stories for sure. So subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, and follow us on social media. And I'll let you finish us off here.
Get your Habs Tonight merch. That's how I'm going to close it off. HabsTonight.net. We've got a lot of stuff coming out soon. We're going to have some back to school stuff since it's been requested, some backpacks, you name it. A lot of back to school stuff for the kids or even for yourself. And not to brag, but I mean, they're really comfortable.
They are. No,
they're extremely comfortable. I was not expecting this much comfy out of it. So make sure you check it out, you guys. And again, if you have any requests, send them our way. Live at habstonight.com. We'll be happy to hear your requests, take your videos, photos, and even if you want to pop on the show to come chat with us, it'll be an honor to have you guys. So thank you for joining the first episode of Flashback Fridays, and we will see you next week. Thanks, Drew.